Hi, I'm the itemLabel historian, and this is the history of OuiOuis. The first time the itemLabel community saw a OuiOuis was November 7th of 2020. Lemonwee, as it's known today, was revealed by Mushba in the itemLabel Discord. Another message hinted at the name of the new creature, which was later confirmed after a post on the itemLabel Instagram. Another message revealed that the name for the new baby peepy was a Discord exclusive secret. After 6 long months of waiting, Series 1 OuiOuis finally released. But a lot happened between this point and then. And you might even be wondering, what is a OuiOuis? Well, I'll give you the basics. OuiOuis are a smaller version of peepies, a collectible plush released by itemLabel in October of 2020. Peepies were a hit, but people wanted more. Because of their success, itemLabel began conceptualizing a smaller variant that we know today as OuiOuis. OuiOuis come in blind bags, so you don't know what you'll get, and there have been a total of 8 different series over the years, all of which I'll talk about in this video. So now that you know what a OuiOuis is, let's go in depth about how they got where they are today. Earlier, I mentioned that a lot more happened between the first image of a OuiOuis and the release of Series 1. This included a few leaks, which technically weren't leaks because they came from itemLabel themselves, but I'll be talking about them now. Of course, I already mentioned the early pictures of Lemonwee, which I showed previously, but there were also early pictures of this purple OuiOuis that we now know as Stinker. There was also a picture of Cow OuiOuis on the itemLabel Instagram before it was released. However, this was nowhere near the most substantial leak. About 2 months after our first glimpse of a OuiOuis, an image of all 5 Series 1 OuiOuis appeared on the itemLabel Discord. This finally revealed all of the designs of the OuiOuis and even showcased a gold one, which people speculated would be rarer than the others. This was confirmed by Marmot, an itemLabel co-owner who confirmed that the golden OuiOuis would be slightly rarer than the others, but not so much that it was impossible to get. These were the most significant leaks of OuiOuis Series 1. There are a few more on itemLabel socials, but it wasn't long before the first OuiOuis finally released. OuiOuis Series 1 was released on May 13th, 2021 through the Night Night OuiOuis video on the itemLabel YouTube channel. It had been 6 months since the itemLabel community first saw a OuiOuis, and because of that, a lot of hype had built up around the eventual release of Series 1. And so, it sold out in under 6 hours. This obviously came as a shock to the itemLabel owners who expected the OuiOuis supplies to last about a month, when in reality it lasted under a day. Even though we've already covered the release of Series 1 OuiOuis, there's a lot more to this time period of Ouioui history. Before Series 1 released, there was no discussion of, well, series. Everyone just assumed that there would be one set of OuiOuis and that would be it. But when they finally came out, the bag said Series 1, and people began to wonder, will there be another set of OuiOuis? They didn't need to wonder for long though, because just 10 days after the release of Series 1, Mushba confirmed in the itemLabel Discord that there would be a Series 2 of OuiOuis. Mushba said there wouldn't be any spoilers yet, but there would be in just a few months. However, before we get to that, we have to talk about something else. September of 2021 saw a restock of Series 1 OuiOuis, and with that restock, a new OuiOuis was introduced. After the restock, Mushba posted in the itemLabel Discord explaining the odds of getting each OuiOuis, but also included a secret rare OuiOuis. People wondered what the secret rare could be, but they wouldn't have to wait long, because on September 21st of 2021, the secret rare OuiOuis was found. itemLabel tweeted about it and said that the OuiOuis had been named after the discoverer's suggestion. The discoverer posted photos of the new OuiOuis named Relish in the Discord. Now that I've talked about Relish, let's discuss those Series 2 leaks I mentioned earlier. The first notable leak was this image of the Series 2 box art posted by Mushba. It shows a pinkish red OuiOuis called Tomato. People were excited by this new OuiOuis, but this isn't the only image they would see of it. Later, this image would be posted. This leak shows the physical version of Tomato Wii, showing us another peek at Series 2. These two leaks were the only ones that I could find that were released a significant amount of time before Series 2 came out. There is, however, one more leak I want to talk about before the Series 2 release. In the itemLabel AWR 2022 announcement video, a blurred image of new itemLabel collectibles was shown. But you might have noticed, whatever's in the bottom right corner isn't blurred, so we can kind of make out what it is. Although it was pretty hard to tell at the time, people concluded that this was a Ouioui variant of the already existing purple fuzzy peepy. It also seemed to have a Ouioui tag, but that was less certain. All things said, there weren't that many leaks for Ouioui Series 2. So now, it's time to talk about the release. Ouioui Series 2 was released on March 10th, 2022, and had a total of 7 designs including the secret rare. This series was released through the 2022 itemLabel AWR, along with some other itemLabel collectibles. This series made a few changes from Series 1, including an additional Ouioui. While Series 1 had 6 designs total, including Relish, Series 2 had 7. Another change between the two series was the new first edition logo on Ouioui's tags. But perhaps the biggest change was that the secret rare Ouioui was now available from day 1. On March 14th, 2022, just 4 days after the release of Series 2 Ouiouis, the secret rare was found. This secret rare, like the first one, was also named by its discoverer and was called Pingui. This secret rare is unique because it took the least amount of time from the release of the series to the discovery of the secret rare out of any series to date. But the more interesting thing about this Ouioui is that the very same person who discovered it got a second one just a few days after. This is obviously extremely lucky, but it isn't nearly as lucky as you'd have to be to get 2 relishes. This is because Pingui is a lot more common than Relish. While Pingui was available from day 1, Relish didn't become available until about 4 months after Series 1 released. That's all I have to say about Series 2, because the next time period in Ouioui history is almost a year long and needs an entire section for itself. This time period of Ouioui history begins with this image of the Ouioui that we now know as Amphibious Lump. The image came from a stream from itemLabel's TikTok that happened on August 12, 2022. People wondered what this thing was, and it was quickly clarified by an itemLabel Discord server moderator, Sterling, who said that it was in fact a Ouioui. Just under a month later, on September 11th of 2022, another new Ouioui was revealed via itemLabel's TikTok. Although it's not as obvious as the previous image, you can see that the Ouioui we now know as Blinding Corona is slightly visible in front of Biwi. More Series X leaks are to come, but before we get to that, we need to talk about the first collab Ouioui, Onigiroui. Onigiroui was first seen on September 17th, 2022. This image was posted by Mushba in the itemLabel Discord, and it was soon revealed that this was a collaboration between itemLabel and this Canadian restaurant, which I do not know how to pronounce the name of. Onigiroui would become available to purchase at the restaurant on October 3rd, 2022. They sold out in about a day, but a post on itemLabel's Twitter said that they would come back eventually. However, a message from Mushba saying that Onigiroui would not be restocked would dispute this a few months later. And as of November 2024, this holds true. Mushba did say that similar Ouiouis would be released in the future, but as of now, this has never happened. Now it's time to address the elephant in the room. If you're a longtime itemLabel fan, you might know that Onigiroui isn't actually a Ouioui. Onigiroui is generally considered to be a peewee because of its tag that says, well, peewee. Even though it's not technically a Ouioui, the reason I decided to talk about Onigiroui in this video is because it most closely resembles a Ouioui, and the tag says peewee ? But now that's all been said, let's move on to the remaining Series X leaks. This first leak is Chikoui, which wasn't actually Series X, but most people thought it was at the time. Chikoui was revealed on Mushba's Twitter through a few images, which led people to theorize that it would be one of the Series X Ouiouis. The other, more substantial leak I want to talk about came a few months later in the form of a Discord message from Mushba. This message revealed the box for Series X Ouiouis and also revealed another Ouioui design. This Ouioui, named Melon by the community, could be seen alongside the previously leaked Amphibious Lump if the image was edited and it was stretched out a bit. This was the last notable leak I could find before Series 3 and X finally released. Ouioui Series 3 and X released on June 22nd of 2023 during the itemLabel Keynote 2023 livestream on their YouTube channel. These series were the first to come in blind boxes instead of blind bags. This keynote also revealed Chikoui, a Ouioui which could only be obtained alongside the new character Papupi. Series 3 had the usual 7 Ouiouis, 5 commons, 1 rare, and 1 super rare. Series X broke this trend by including a total of 12 OuiOuis, all of which were equally common. Another significant difference with this series is that none of the designs were shown on the box, and they were all a mystery when the series first released. This led to a community-wide hunt to discover all of the OuiOuis. A chart was made and slowly filled in over the next 5 days as all of the OuiOuis were discovered. The last Series X OuiOuis was found on June 27, 2023, but was largely overshadowed by the discovery of 3P on the same day. I won't talk about 3P in this video, but I do have a separate video on it if you're curious. A day after the last Series X OuiOuis was found, Mushpa finally revealed all of their names in the Discord. The problem was, none of the names were actually assigned to a OuiOuis, so the community kind of had to guess which name went with which one. A few days after this, the secret rare of Series 3 was found. Professor Ouioui was the first secret rare OuiOuis to not be named by its discoverer, as Mushpa said the community was just too big for that. So, now that all the mystery surrounding Series 3 and X was mostly cleared up, it was time for new leaks. On July 16th, 2023, Mushpa revealed that there would soon be a new series of OuiOuis, Series Y. The first Series Y leak was this concept image of a clock OuiOuis that we now know as Tachyon embodiment. Shortly after, in early August, an image showing only half of this OuiOuis was posted in the Discord. About a month later, in early September, an image of the final version of Tachyon embodiment was revealed. Most people speculated that these two OuiOuis would be a part of Series Y, but no images of Series 4 OuiOuis had been seen yet. But in early October, a dark image of Rough Luck OuiOuis was posted. Brightening the image provides a clearer picture of the OuiOuis variant of Tough Luck peepy. The next Series Y leak came in early November and was this weird beetle OuiOuis which spawned an insane number of memes throughout the community. There's plenty more Series 4 and Y leaks to discuss, but first we briefly need to go back to Series 3. In late November 2023, Series 3 OuiOuis were restocked. A few days later, on December 4th, Mushpa sent this message in the itemLabel Discord. The message hinted at something new in the Series 3 restock, and just a day later we would find out what Mushpa was talking about. On December 5th, 2023, Mite was discovered. Mite was similar to a secret rare OuiOuis, but the main difference was that it came in multiple different series. Those series would end up being the Series 3 restock, Series 4, and Series Y. Mite's design has some sinister implications, but that discussion is for another video. The next leak in mid-December showed us an orange version of Papoopy. Zooming in on this image shows us a similar colored OuiOuis in its pouch. 2 weeks later, just before New Year's, 2 separate itemLabel TikToks revealed new OuiOuis. One revealed this Series 4 OuiOuis, now known as Plaid Ouie, and the other revealed this Series Y, known as Albumin Breach. It's worth noting that before Series 4 even came out, Mushpa was working on Series 5. He even mentioned that they'd have the unique gimmick of all wearing clothes. I'll talk more about Series 5 in a bit, but for now let's get to the final leak. In early January of 2024, an itemLabel TikTok revealed an entirely new OuiOuis. The TikTok only shows about half of the OuiOuis known as Sweet Dream, but it does show Plaid Ouie in a different color. Finally, the last thing I want to talk about before the release of Series 4 and Y is the only one-of-a-kind OuiOuis. On January 8th, 2024, YouTuber Ouioui, who is an avid itemLabel collector, was sent a care package by itemLabel that included this unique unnamed The back of the OuiOuis was completely blank except for some writing, which I'm pretty sure says, "Thanks, sorry it's late, I forgot to mail it, enjoy it, love Mushpa." A few weeks later, Mushpa explained that it was one of a few random unreleased OuiOuis that he had lying around. Even though there are technically more than one of these things, it's still the only one-of-a-kind OuiOuis that isn't owned by Mushpa. Now that we're finally done talking about all these leaks, it's time for the release of Series 4 and Y. On January 11th, 2024, Series 4 and Y OuiOuis were released through the How to Care for Your PP video on itemLabel's YouTube channel. The video also revealed Cheese Ouie, which could only be obtained through the new Papoopy variant, Cheese Papoopy. Series 4 had the usual 7 designs, while Series Y had 12 mystery designs like Series X. Shortly after Series Y was released, someone found hidden text in their item description that revealed their names. These two OuiOuis names were missing, and none of the other ones had a OuiOuis assigned to them, but this was still useful for piecing things together before all of the names were officially revealed. On January 16th, 2024, a few days after the new OuiOuis had come out, the Series 4 secret rare was discovered. I can't find a name for this guy anywhere, and as far as I can tell, he doesn't actually have one, but the generally accepted name is High Vis OuiOuis. Less than an hour after High Vis was found, the hunt to find all of the Series Y OuiOuis concluded. A few hours after this OuiOuis, known as Everyone's So Creative, was discovered, Mushpa revealed one of the 2 missing Series Y names. He also clarified why the two names were missing in the first place and basically just said he forgot to add them. The other missing name was revealed the next day, but this one is a bit less certain. This OuiOuis has been called like 3 different things, but the generally accepted name is Sockate's beetle. It's also worth mentioning that Series 4 OuiOuis, unlike Series 3 and 5, were in stock for months after their release. This was mostly because the designs of Plaid and Sweet Dream were pretty unpopular. The rest of the OuiOuis were also pretty underwhelming, but I think Plaid and Sweet Dream are probably the main reason for this. The next month in OuiOuui history was largely uneventful, but on February 19, 2024, the second collab OuiOuui was announced. This OuiOuui was a collaboration between itemLabel and Monster Party Cafe. I won't talk about the release of this OuiOuui until the beginning of the next time period, but there's one more thing I want to talk about before I get to that. On March 31st, 2024, Mushpa posted this video on his Twitter. This video shows an unreleased OuiOuui, which could be one of the few that was given to Ouioui back in January. While this may not necessarily be true, this is one of the few prototype OuiOuis that we've seen that hasn't eventually been released. Now that we've discussed everything in this time period, let's talk about the second collab OuiOuui. This time period begins with a post on itemLabel's Twitter from April 16th, 2024. The post included this video and clarified the dates when the Monster Party OuiOuui would be available. And just 2 days later, it finally was. Unlike Onigiroui, Monster Party does actually have a OuiOuui tag, so we know for sure that it's a OuiOuui. The back of Monster Party's tag is also completely unique, showing a little itemLabel X Monster Party logo. This OuiOuui sold much less than Onigiroui, likely because it was only available in Japan, and most of itemLabel's fan base is in America. There's not much else to say about this OuiOuui, but there are some leaks I want to talk about before we get to the next time period. On June 14th, 2024, Mushpa posted this image on his Twitter. When asked about it a few days later, he clarified that this OuiOuui was in fact from Series 5. He also shared this image which revealed that the OuiOui's name was Flaming. This Series 5 bag art also shows an accessory of some kind on the OuiOui's head, which goes with what Mushpa said a few months before about all of the OuiOui's in this series having accessories. About a month after this, Mushpa posted an image on Twitter which looked extremely similar to the Series Y box. Most people speculated that this would be the box art for Series Z and that this OuiOuui would be featured in it. Mushpa had said a few times before that he was working on Series Z, so these assumptions were warranted. If you've been paying any attention at all to the itemLabel community lately, you'll know that these guesses were wrong, but we'll talk more about that in a bit. The next and final Series 5 leak was yet another image on Mushpa's Twitter. The image shows a OuiOuui that looks like a laptop and is the first time we saw a OuiOuui wearing an accessory outside of an illustration. There's no more notable leaks to discuss, so let's finally get to what is currently the most recent time period in OuiOuui history. On September 20th, 2024, Series 5 OuiOuis were released through the How to Care for Your OuiOuui video on itemLabel's YouTube channel. Series 5 was the only thing released in this drop, and it had a total of 8 designs unlike Series 1 through 4. This included 6 commons, 1 rare, and 1 secret rare. Another change that came with this series was the switch back to blind bags instead of the blind boxes of the previous 4 series. Series 5 also had the unique gimmick that every OuiOuui had some kind of removable accessory. One of these accessories was the wings on devilOuii, which were attached with a magnet on the back of the OuiOuui. Because all of the Series 5 accessories are supposed to be interchangeable, all of the OuiOuis from the series have this magnet. As with every other series of OuiOuis, the hunt to find the secret rare commenced as soon as Series 5 came out. But, in a way, this secret rare was found the same day the series was released. Shortly after the release of Series 5, someone found an early version of the bag art for the series. This art showed a OuiOuui called Hiding in the place of Phoning. Most people speculated that Phoning was originally intended to be the secret rare for this series, but at some point it was switched to be Hiding. When the Series 5 secret rare was found on September 22nd, 2024, this theory proved true. Other than that, there's not really anything special about this secret rare, so let's talk about something else new in this series. Something that was assumed to be a new variant of Mite. The new Mite, called Krill and sometimes referred to as Mite 2, was discovered on September 25th, 2024. Krill wasn't technically confirmed to be a new Mite at this point because it had a OuiOuui tag, but it pretty clearly wasn't the Series 5 secret rare. There's really not much else to say about Series 5, so let's skip ahead a few months and talk about the next and final series of OuiOuis that's been released as of now. Series and OuiOuis were released on November 15th, 2024 in a video titled The itemZeum on itemLabel's YouTube channel. Most people were surprised by the name of the new series in the XY blank lineup because most people expected the next series to be Series Z. However, instead of XYZ, it seems that the lineup will be XY and Z, with Series Z likely releasing sometime next year in 2025. Like Series X and Y, Series and had a total of 12 designs which were discovered in the days following its release. All of the OuiOuis in this series were found so quickly that I honestly have no idea which one was found last, but I'll go ahead and talk about some other differences with this series. Unlike Series X and Y, Series and has magnets similar to those used in Series 5. This probably means that most, if not all, future OuiOuui series will have these magnets. Another notable departure from Series X and Y is the one-word names of the Series and OuiOuis. The only exception to this is the OuiOuui Extraterrestrial Luminous, whose name was leaked shortly after the release of Series And. The reason I said leaked like that was because it wasn't actually leaked and was faked by someone in the itemLabel Discord. The only reason I even mentioned this is because Mushba thought it was funny, I guess, and just changed the official name of the OuiOuis to Extraterrestrial Luminous. The final thing about the Series And OuiOuis that I want to talk about is their tags. Because of some kind of manufacturing error, all of the Series And OuiOuis had the wrong tag, so a sticker with the right tag was placed over it. I'm not brave enough to take the tag off of one of my Series And OuiOuis, but I'm pretty sure it just says Series X or Y underneath. The last thing I'll say about Series And is a slight change to Krill. Krill now has its own unique Mite tag instead of having a OuiOuis tag, so it's clear that it's another variant of Mite. So now that I've talked about almost the entirety of Ouioui history, there's still one last thing I want to discuss. So, now that I've summed up the history of OuiOuis in a kind of short video, and I've talked about their past for so long, a question comes to mind. What does the future of OuiOuis look like? Because the latest series are both so recent, we don't have a lot of information on what will come next, but I'll talk about what we do have. Admittedly, most of this is speculation based on random messages Mushba sent in the Discord, and I don't really want to be one of those people who takes literally everything he says as fact, but for the sake of this part of the video, that's exactly what I'll be doing. So, Mushba has mentioned 3 different OuiOuis series that all have the potential to be the next one to come out. This includes Series 6, Series Z, and the All-Stars series. All-Stars has been described as a series which brings back the most popular OuiOuis from previous years. If I had to guess, All-Stars would probably have one OuiOuis from each of the first 5 basic series. It would also probably bring back one rare and super rare from one of those series to create a full set of 7. Very little is known about the All-Star series, but I really hope we see it sometime soon. The next possibility, and the one that I think is most likely, is Series 6. Mushba said he was redesigning Series 6 based on the popularity of Series 5, so we could probably expect to see something pretty similar to it. As far as I'm aware, only 2 OuiOuis from Series 6 have been specifically mentioned as of now. A OuiOui variant of Angel Peepy has been confirmed, and a scented OuiOui called Ouioui has also been mentioned. On November 7th, Mushba said that he actually got the scented OuiOui and that it smelled good. It's also worth mentioning Mushba said this would be the only scented OuiOui in the series. The third and final possibility for the next series of OuiOuis is Series Z. We don't really have any idea what Series Z would look like, and Mushba has even said that he's not really sure if he's going to make it. He actually said it would be funny if it was just X, Y, and then no Z. Overall, we really don't know too much about the future of OuiOuis. I personally think Series 6 will release alongside All-Stars or Series Z in about 5 or 6 months from now. So that's the history of OuiOuis. This video took countless hours of research. I probably scrolled through tens of thousands of messages and posts. Searched for hours to verify a single fact more times than I'd like to admit. My point is, this video took a crazy amount of work, so if you enjoyed it, please let me know. And without much else to say, thanks for watching OuiOuui History.